and today I'm going to show you how you can crochet this crochet blanket skirt. This skirt is super fashionable, and we're going to add this shell stitch at the bottom here. You can customize this and make this in any colors that you want to. It is super easy and comfortable and very soft, the yarn that we're going to be using. So the materials that you're going to need are a yarn weight 6, super bulky. So this is a Burnett baby blanket, which is what I used. I didn't use this yellow color, but I just wanted to show you what the label looks like. And so this is recommended that you use 8mm hook size. So that's what I used for this. This is another option. It's a polyester yarn. And this is from Michaels. Loops and threads. This is like a chenille yarn. This is the same size, the super bulky 6, and also with the 8mm recommended hook size. Next, you're going to want to get a button. So this is a kit from Amazon, which is assorted sizes, clear. I could put it in the description, but I used the biggest one in this set, which is 1 inch by 1 inch. So you just need a big one like this. So we're going to connect it at the end. And then you just need scissors. These are my crochet scissors that came with my kit. So then I'm going to use these. And this hook, 8mm hook, I got from Michaels. And you're also going to want to get some sewing thread for when we connect the button. It doesn't necessarily need to be the same color as the yarn you're using. But if it is, then that would be good. I don't have thread in every color, so I was just working with what I got. So I just used this, which wasn't exactly the same color, but that's okay. It's really thin, so no one's really gonna notice. If you do not have any buttons, it is okay, because you can also do this drawstring technique that I'm gonna show at the end. So first you want to think about what pattern you're gonna do. I'm gonna do this same pattern, but with these 3 colors. So I did my starting round up here, and then I went down 5 rows of half double crochet before I started doing the increase, and then at the end I did these other 2 rows up top, and I decreased it to make it be a little bit tighter on top, but I did that at the end just because when you take the skirt on and off it gets a little bit bigger. So that's the way that I'm going to be setting it up. So when you start, don't do the very first color that you want. Do the one that's going to be 2 under it. So I'm going to start with this, and then at the end I'm going to do the white and then the orange on the top. How I'm going to have mine is I'm going to have this one be this color, and then the pink is going to be this white, and then the green will be this like coral color. So let's get started. The pattern for this skirt was 3 rows of the Pitter Patter Burnett baby blanket, then 1 row of pink, 1 row of the lime green, 1 row of pink again, and repeat. So to get started, we're going to make a slip knot, and then we're going to chain 2, 1, 2, go into that second chain from the hook and make a single crochet. So insert your hook, yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2, chain 1, turn your work, and put another single crochet through like that hole here. So insert your hook, yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2, chain 1, turn your work, do another single crochet, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2. So we're going to keep doing that where we chain 1 and do a single crochet until we get to the length that is going to wrap around our waist tightly, which I will show how to measure that. But for reference, I'm going to be doing this 55 times. So at the end, you can count like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can count the holes. So if you were to be the same size as me, that's how I'm going to be doing mine. So if you're skinnier, then you'd want to do less. And if you're bigger, then you'd want to do more. So the way to know that this is going to fit you is you're going to take it, wrap it around your waist. If you just wrap it around, it looks like, oh no, it's not tight enough, right? Stretch it out as tight as it can go. and then look, it's gonna fit, because when you put it on and off, it's going to stretch out a little bit. So if you make it be like the perfect size right now, it's going to get stretched out, and then all of a sudden it's going to be too big, okay? So don't freak out if it starts to get too loose at the top, because we're going to add the button at the end, and so you can connect the button to one of these crochet holes. So it's sticking out like a little bit like this, but you know, you can kind of tuck that in, so it's like tucked in like that. So the back is none of my business anyways, right? So this is what it looks like. If you want, you could do the drawstring technique. So this is the first skirt that I did, and when I made it, it ended up becoming so, it's like so loose, it's too big. So then you see what happens when I tighten it, it just kind of looks bad in the back, because it gets like this. So in the front, like, it looks fine, but then in the back, it just kind of looks stupid. So do what I said and make it be like as tight as you can get it, and we're gonna do it like that for like 5 rows, just for like this part, this high-waisted part, and then we'll make it be out a little bit. So that other skirt, I made it a little bit smaller, maybe like by like 8 stitches smaller. So I'll tell you guys what to do though for the next steps. So after you get to the length that fits you, you're gonna just chain 1, turn your work, and then insert your hook through that last hole. Then you want to line up your work, so you want to make sure it's not like twisted like that. So line up your work, bring it together, and we're going to make a slip stitch. So you put into the, the first stitch that we did, yarn over, pull through everything. So now it is connected and it's all lined up. All right, then we will chain 1, and we're gonna do a half double crochet all the way around. So you yarn over, insert your hook into that first stitch, yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through all 3, yarn over, insert into that second hole, yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 3, yarn over into the next hole, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 3. Keep doing this until you get all the way around. So I'm at the end here, and I have 1 more half double crochet to do. So yarn over, insert my hook, yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 3. This was the chain 1 piece, so it's not like a stitch to go into. So then I'm going to insert my hook here and yarn over, pull through both to do a slip stitch, and then I will chain 1. Yarn over, go back into that stitch that you did the stitch, slip stitch in, and you connected it to. So I'll show you what that will look like. So when you go into here, this is the stitch then you're gonna start again in. So you yarn over both, and then you chain 1, yarn over, and then go back into that stitch and do half double crochet. So I'm gonna go all the way back around, and then when I get back around, I will slip stitch and chain 1. So at the end here, I have 1 more stitch to go into, and so this looks like it is a stitch, but that was the slip stitch. So if you go into that, you're gonna keep increasing your work. So you could use a stitch marker if you wanted to. I don't use it just because I feel like you can kind of tell, because it's half double crochet, and you just have to remember that this is the slip stitch, this is the chain piece, and then this is the first stitch. So I'm going to connect this. So I'm going to insert my hook here, yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2. And so then I'm going to go around one more time actually. So I will chain 1, go back into that stitch, and I'm going to go all the way around. And then, so if I was going to do my stitch marker, I would put it in, I guess I would put it into the slip stitch part, so that way I know when I go around, this is the last stitch to go into, and don't go into the where I put the stitch marker. So then I'm going to go around again, and then I'll show you how you could change colors. So now I'm at the end here, and I'm ready to do my last stitch, but I'm going to be changing colors, so I'm going to do it a little differently. So I'll yarn over, insert my hook, yarn over, pull through 1, and then instead of finishing it, I'm going to take my new color, leave a little bit out like this, and then I'm going to finish the stitch with the new color. And then I will take out my stitch marker, and then I'm just going to slip stitch it in here, chain 1, and then go back around. And so this is the slip stitch of this one, so I'll just put in you could put in your stitch marker if you want to. So because of how I'm going to make mine, I'm going to change colors again. So before finishing it, I will change into my new color, take out my stitch marker, and rig it together. Then I will chain 1, and then I'm going to go all the way back around. So you can pull on the yarn that you changed colors with so that you bring in that slip stitch a little bit so it's not so far apart, and so like the stitches are tighter. So that's what I just did there. So for my pattern, I'm going to change colors again, and so you'll notice that you have these the yarn from before because we didn't cut it off. So I'm going to go into that last stitch, yarn over, go into the last stitch, yarn over, pull through 1, and then I'm just going to take this from before and finish it. Take out my chain piece, or stitch marker, and then I will connect it back together, chain 1, and then go into that first stitch. And so then the yarn just kind of comes up a little bit here. But now what we're going to do is we're going to start increasing our work to make it be a bigger skirt. So since we're all different sizes, I'm just going to show you the setup of how to do this and the technique. So the first starting chain that we did was this one here. You can't really tell, but then at the end we're going to do a decrease of 2 more stitches to make it even tighter, because it's going to get looser the more you put it on. But so this was the starting round, the starting chain round, and then I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows of just half double crochet. Then we're going to increase on the 6th row and do an increase of 11 is what I did in this one, and then I did 11 in the next one, and then I did 7 here. But if I were to make this again, I think what I would do is I would do this whole part the same. So do your starting row and then 5 rows, and then I would do an increase of 5, and then I would do an increase of 8, 8, 8. So increase it by 5 and then increase the next 3 by 8. I think it might look a little bit better that way. So that's what I would do if I was going to make this again. Or you could just do it how I did it. Then when you continue it, after you do your last increase, just to continue it all the same length. And then before you do your shell stitch, you want to do, in the same color you're going to do your shell stitch, you want to increase it by 13. And then you want to do your shell stitch. But no matter if you do the 11, 11, 7 or 5, 8, 8, 8, it is still going to be an increase of 29 stitches from the first starting point that I did. So I think if you use this technique, it should fit you, because this is just like your waist size, and then you increase it by 29 so it's bigger for the rest of your body. So I think this should be good. If you want it to be bigger than that, then you could make it bigger. I wouldn't increase it less than 29, because then the smaller you make it, the harder it gets to walk at the bottom. So that other skirt that I did in the light pink and cream colored one, that one I made it a little bit smaller when I did 11, 11, 3. So I wouldn't advise doing that. I think that this one is a better size. And then the other one, my very first one, the pink and purple one, was, I don't know the exact measurements because that one was kind of messed up a little bit. But that one's even bigger than this one is. So this is a guide on how to calculate your increase rows. So as an example, if you had 55, this is an example of something that would be perfect, 55 divided by 11, because I want to increase by 11, equals 5, which is a whole number, so that's good. So you do 5 minus 1 is 4. So you do 4 half double crochets, and then on the 5th one you do your increase. You minus it by 1 because that increase is taking up a stitch. So it doesn't need to be perfect. So this is an example of one that wouldn't be perfect. So if you start with 60 stitches and then you want to increase it by 8, 60 divided by 8 is 7.5. So you want to round down to 7. So if you don't have a whole number, round down. So then 7 minus 1 is 6. So you would do 6 and then do your increase. If you do it like this, you're going to have 4 stitches left over. So then just do a half double crochet in the last 4 stitches, and don't worry if it's not perfect, it's still going to come out looking okay. You'll know how many you have left over, because if you do 7 times 8, that's 56, and you start it with 60 stitches, so 60 minus 56 equals 4, so you're going to have 4 left over. So this is just a visual of what it will look like. So you have your starting chain round, your 5 rows of the half double crochet, and then you have your increase by 11, your increase by 11 again, and then your increase by 7. Regular half double crochet all the way down, and then you increase it by 13 before your shell stitch, and then you do the decrease by 5 2 times at the very end. And that's because when you keep putting on the skirt, it just gets a little bit looser. So if you want to just have it tighter up at the waist, then we're going to decrease it again at the very end. And this is just an example of how I calculated the increases for that skirt. And this was a good one because all of the numbers ended up being perfect and they were whole numbers. And then this is just a guideline of how I would redo it, which would be the increase by 5, and then the increase by 8, 8 again, and then 8 again, and then do it increase by 13 at the end. And then this is just the calculations for that. So the very first increase was good because that's a whole number. The other 3 aren't whole numbers, but that's okay. So the parentheses means that it's repeating. So as an example, when I did 5 comma increase in parentheses, that means you do 5 half double crochets, then you do your increase, then you do 5 half double crochets again, and then you do your increase, and you keep repeating until you get to the end. And it's the same thing with the decrease. In parentheses, 5 comma decrease is 5 half double crochets, then a decrease, 5 half double crochets, decrease, 5 half double crochets, decrease, all the way until you get to the end. The reason that I said if I was going to remake this, when I would start doing the increases, I would do 5, 8, 8. Because this one I did 11, like I said, and I feel like it just it starts like this and then it goes out too much right away. That's why I think it would just be smoother if you do 5, 8, 8, 8, and then it'll still be the same amount of stitches going down. So that's just what I recommend for you to do, but if you think it looks fine like this, then just do it like that. I want to just get this tutorial out there, and I don't know if I'm going to make another skirt like this or if I'm going to try something different. So that's why I don't have an example of what that looks like, but I think that it will just look better. So this is how to do an increase. You yarn over, insert your hook, and do a half double crochet. Then yarn over again and insert your hook into that same stitch and do another half double crochet. So we're putting 2 stitches into one. So I'll show you again. First you do 1 half double crochet and then another one in this same stitch. So now we have 2 in this one and 2 in this one, right? So after you do all of your increase rows, then you're just gonna half double crochet all the way down to the bottom, but don't go to the very bottom because you want to leave some room to do your shell stitch and your 1 increase row before that. So for me, 80 divided by 13 was like 6 point something. So I'm going to do 5 and then an increase, and then I'm going to have 2 half double crochets at the end left over, but that's okay. It doesn't need to be perfect. So let me show you how to do a double crochet before I show you how to do the shell stitch. So you yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2 again. So it's like a little bit more steps than the half double crochet. So you yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2 again. I'm going to connect my work, and now I'm going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. So now this is starting the first row of the shell stitch. So after you chain 3, you're going to put a double crochet back into that same stitch. Then we're going to skip 1 stitch and do a double crochet. Skip another stitch and do a double crochet. Skip another one and do a double crochet. And then the next one will be a little bit different, but we're going to skip 1 and do a double crochet. But this one you chain 1 and then put another double crochet back into it. So this chain 3 and the double crochet counts as a V-stitch, and then we have 1, 2, 3 double crochets in a row, but skipping 1 in between, and then this is the V-stitch. So the pattern is always going to be skip 1. So you're going to have 3 double crochets in a row, skipping 1 in between, and then a V-stitch. So if you want, you can count to doing 4 double crochets, but then on the 4th one is when you chain 1 and then you do another double crochet. So you see how it's the V-stitch 3, V-stitch 3, V-stitch, and then you just keep doing this until you get all the way around to the end. So how mine ended was I had the V-stitch and then I have 2 half double crochets, so I'm just going to connect it into this. You don't want to end with like 2 V-stitches next to each other. So if you were to have 2 V-stitches, I guess, well, you could do that, but then we're going to be putting 7 double crochets inside the V-stitch. So if you have 2 next to each other, you could kind of combine them together and do 3 in one of them and 4 in the other. I've done that before. I guess I don't really have an example of that. But so now this is the new pattern. So let's chain 2. Before you do the next step though, go around and make sure that you did it right, because if you do this step and then you messed up, you're gonna have to redo everything. So make sure that you did everything right first. So after you chain 2, we're gonna put 6 in the first one, just because the chain 2 counts as 1. So do 6 double crochets inside of the V-stitch. Then you're gonna go over, you want to put it in the middle of these 3, but I like to just put it into this stitch here, so it's like the middle could kind of be, I feel like the middle is maybe this one, but I like to put it in this one, so I guess maybe it's not the middle. On top of this 3rd double crochet, you just put a double crochet on top of there, and then go into the V-stitch and do 7 double crochets. So that's what it should be looking like. So then let's go over, and I'm going to put it into this stitch here. And then 7 double crochets in the V-stitch. So you're going to do this all the way till you get to the end. So then when you get to the end, I'm going to do my last double crochet and then just connect it to this with a slip stitch. And you cut off part of the yarn. You could chain 1, I guess, and pull it through. So you don't want to have this sticking out. So you can just kind of bring it around into this part here. And then I would tie it if you have something to tie it to. Now let me show you how to do a decrease. Is you yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, but don't finish the stitch. Then you go into the next stitch and you yarn over, pull through, and then yarn over, pull through all 3. So we just connected those 2 together. So yarn over, and when you're going into the next stitch, make sure you don't put it into the same one as before. So go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through 1, go into that next stitch, yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through all 3. So now we're gonna go back to the top of the skirt and we're gonna decrease it by 5. So since I had 55 stitches, divided by 5 is 11. So 11 minus 1 is 10. I'm going to do 10 half double crochets and then a decrease. So first, find like the start. Insert your hook. So I'm going to just make a slip knot and insert my hook like this. Chain 1. So I'm going to change colors again. And now I'm going to decrease this again by 5. So now I have 50. 50 divided by 5 is 10. 10 minus 1 is 9. So I'm going to do 9 half double crochets and then my increase all the way around. So now you would just slip stitch to connect your work at the end. Cut off your yarn. You might want to bring that yarn in a little bit. And if you have 2 pieces of yarn strings close to each other, I would tie them 3 times and then you could cut it off, but leave like a little bit at the end. So that's what I'm doing now. So now we're going to add the button. Get a long piece of sewing string, fold it in half, and then tie it up. So this way it will be stronger than just having one strand of string. So I'm tying the string together now. And then we're going to put this through the button. You want to get like a big button because you want the button to be able to fit through the crochet, half double crochet holes. So we'll put that string through. So you have it like that. Then get to the back of your, get to the top of your skirt. And put it in the back by where like we started, where all the strings are. So put that button through like one of the stitches there. And then when you do this, I tie this like 10 times just to be safe. So I'm going to start tying this up now. So after you tie it a bunch of times, then you can cut off part of the string at the end. Leave like a little bit sticking out, you know, just in case. And then I'll show you how you can connect this together. So you have your button, and then you just kind of put it through one of the holes. Like obviously you do this when it's on you, but then I just connected it. So this is how you will connect your button when you're wearing it. So you could just take one of these, the holes from the top of your half double crochet, and then you could just insert the button like that. And then you could kind of just tuck it in the back here. And that's what it will look like. And then just bring it into the back. And your skirt's good. So this is the second way that you can tighten up your skirt at the end. So first we are going to make a slip knot. And then we are going to make a chain. So you want to measure your waist. And then you want to add 10 to 20 inches onto that. and I'll show you on 2 different skirts what it's going to look like if you add 10 inches and what it's going to look like if you add 20 inches. But I think it looks better if you add 20 inches. Then we're going to go into the second chain from the hook, and we're going to just do a single crochet. And you're just going to single crochet all the way until you get to the end of this chain. So this is my last stitch here. I'll do my last single crochet. Then you could chain 1, cut off the end here. And now what we're going to do is you're going to get your skirt, and we're going to weave this in between the stitches here. So I'll put it inside here. Want to take some out a little bit, like this maybe, and then you just go like under and over everyone until you get to the end. So when you're doing this technique, you can take this end part and put it through like 5 or 6 or something before you pull through it. So see how I'm doing it? You just put it in a little bit and then you could pull it through to make it a little bit faster. So you don't want to have one on the inside and one on the outside. You want them both to be on the outside. So I'm going to go through this tiny hole here and pull it through. So if yours aren't the same length, what you can do is you just take it like this, and then you have to just keep doing that all the way around so that you can get it to be the same length. But so now we have these 2 strings that we don't want people to really see that, so I'm gonna just kind of bring this one over here and tie them together. Maybe 3 times. Cut that off. You can kind of try to hide them. Maybe put them like this a little bit, I don't know. So this is what the drawstring technique will look like on, and so you turn it around to tie it up. And so even just adding a drawstring kind of tightens it up a little bit, but if you need to make it tighter, you can pull on it to make it tighter. This is what it will look like if you measure your waist and then add 10 inches. I think if I was going to do this again, maybe I would add 15 inches from the waist, or maybe even 20. But this is what it looks like with 10. So you can experiment and see what you like. It's good to do the drawstring like this instead of having just the string of yarn through it, because this is more secure and it's not going to break on you, and it's just easier to take apart the bow. Because if you do it with just the string, it can be hard and sometimes impossible to unknot it, and then you basically have to just make another drawstring every day. So that's what it looks like. And if you measure your waist and add 20, then this is what the drawstring technique will look like. So I think it looks better this way, but I guess it all becomes preference. So this is how the bow will look like in this one. You could even do this technique and use maybe a thinner yarn if you don't want the bow to be super thick like this. But that's it. So now you know how to make this crochet blanket skirt. Please like and comment if this tutorial was helpful for you. And let me know of any other videos you want to hear me making. Thanks. Bye.